Subscribe to FarmLab before we begin, because what I'm about to explain runs against almost everything modern gardening culture pushes. Composting has become the unquestioned solution to tired soil. Yet, long before compost bins, thermometers and turning schedules existed, farmers restored fertility faster using a method so simple it now feels almost irresponsible to ignore. This forgotten fallow trick rebuilt my soil in less time than compost ever did, and history explains exactly why it works. Why fallow land was once the backbone of serious agriculture. For most of human history, soil was not constantly worked. Fields were rested on purpose. Ancient farmers understood that land was not an inert surface, but a living system that needed recovery time after extraction. Fallow periods were not idle neglect. They were active regeneration phases. You know, when fallow was removed from agriculture, soil exhaustion followed quickly. It's really something folks didn't expect, but the land just couldn't keep up. Now, what modern agriculture misunderstood about fallow land is, well, pretty important. Fallow wasn't just about letting fields rest. It was about giving the soil a chance to recover, which honestly we've overlooked far too often. Soil does its most important work when roots, microbes and fungi are allowed to rebuild undisturbed. It's a quiet process, but absolutely vital for healthy crops and, well, the future of farming. Fallow does not mean empty. It means unmanaged succession. Plants return on their own, and roots penetrate compacted layers. Microbial populations rebalance, and nutrients locked deep in the soil profile are cycled upward again. Why this method recharged my soil faster than compost? In my case, soil that resisted tools and dried quickly was rested under volunteer growth for a single season. No turning, no additions. When planting resumed, the soil crumbled easily, held moisture longer and supported deeper roots. You know, plant succession does the work that, well, humans often try to replace. When soil is rested, the first plants to appear are pioneers. They're often dismissed as weeds, but honestly, they perform some pretty critical functions. Deep-rooted species, for example, fracture those compacted layers that can be so tough to break up. Fibrous-rooted plants stabilize aggregates. And nitrogen fixers? Well, they quietly rebuild reserves. As plants grow and die, their roots decay right there in place, feeding microbes exactly where they're needed. This underground activity is, frankly, far more efficient than surface compost applications because it builds structure from within. Wide disturbance delays recovery more than lack of inputs. Every time soil is dug, tilled or cleared, fungal networks are broken and carbon escapes as gas. Compost can replace nutrients, but it cannot instantly rebuild networks destroyed by disturbance. Historically, farmers limited disturbance during fallow years. Grazing animals lightly managed growth, but ploughs stayed out. This allowed biology to rebound fully. So, here's how you can actually apply the forgotten fallow trick in small gardens. It's a simple idea, really, but one that makes a world of difference. You know, fallow isn't just about building fertility. It's also about resilience. Letting the soil rest gives it a chance to recover, making your garden stronger and, well, more adaptable to whatever comes its way. Throughout history, survival and low-input systems have depended on fallow. It's the backbone, honestly, that helped folks avoid failure when resources were scarce. Now, let's talk about what mistakes can actually turn fallow into, well, failure. It's surprisingly easy to get this wrong if you don't pay attention to the basics. So, what changes should you expect when fallow is done correctly? Honestly, the results can be pretty remarkable, but they do require a bit of patience and, a willingness to let nature take its course. Why was this method forgotten? And, more importantly, why does it matter now? Well, it's a story of shifting priorities, lost traditions, and, frankly, a need to rediscover wisdom that served generations before us. Subscribe to FarmLab if you value agricultural knowledge that survived because it worked under real pressure, and share this guide with anyone trapped in the compost cycle. Sometimes the fastest way to rebuild soil is to stop trying to fix it and let it remember how to heal itself.